Hello, I'm Crispin and welcome to Poker Room Review, your guide for live poker rooms all across the world. In each episode, we review a live poker venue, discussing the important things you need to know when planning your next poker destination. For each venue, we review a range of characteristics, including location and access, game options, service and experience, and Rake and Rewards. We also discuss the rules, quirks, and issues relating to each location. Today, we return to the Philippines and visit Okada Manila, a sprawling seaside entertainment complex right next to the Mall of Asia in Pasay. The Philippines is an exotic tropical archipelago in the Pacific Ocean. With over 7,000 islands, the Philippines is a wonderful adventure holiday with reefs, volcanoes, and rainforest. You'll remember in episode 1 we covered Newport World Resorts, one of our all-time favorite poker destinations. Well, Okada is Newport's largest poker competitor, so let's see how it measures up. Category 1, location and access. Okada is a short drive away from the airport, even in Manila's infamous traffic. It's near the glitzy city of Makati and right next to the huge shopping complex Mall of Asia. Taxis and the local rideshare app Grab can get you a car from the arrivals terminal to Okada in around 20 minutes from any airport terminal. The cost will be around between $5 and $7 US. Stays at Okada can be a bit pricey by Manila standards. However, there is a vast number of hotels nearby, as well as serviced apartments and Airbnb. Many of you will want to stay in nearby Makati, which also boasts some of the best restaurants, shopping and entertainment complexes in all of Asia, and in my opinion, the best cityscape skyline in the Philippines. The poker room at Okada is on the main gaming floor, and is well signposted and impossible to miss. The gaming floor itself is absolutely massive, however, and thus it can take a while just to get from the main entrance to the poker pit. That's because of the sheer size of this casino. Okada is in an absolutely superb location close to the airport and some of Manila's most appealing and popular attractions. The Okada complex itself has an excellent layout and is easy to navigate. If you're flying in from overseas, there is no impediment to accessing the poker room or suitable accommodation. 4 stars. Category 2, game options. Game options is another area in which Okada comes out strong. No limit hold'em cash games are usually running near 24/7, and unlike other venues in Manila, often has multiple stake levels running on offer. This can be from as low as around 50 cent $1 USD right through to 510. Although a lot of the time only the smaller stakes tables will get up, except for during the busiest periods. Unusually for Manila though, Okada also offers PLO games which do run quite often, although again this depends on player demand. This demand is most dependable during one of the many tournament series that are run throughout the calendar year. Here Okada is partnered with PokerStars, running 8 major tournament series each year, with the largest, the Asia Pacific Poker Tour, happening in July. This attracts people from all across the world and is an extravaganza event. Moreover, these tournament series often back-end the APT at Newport, so be sure to check the itineraries for both for an extended stay. Overall, PRR rates the game options 3.5 stars. There is a good mix of cash games and tournament series. The only real drawback is that outside of the major event times, there usually aren't that many cash tables running, especially when compared with local card rooms. This can give Okada's poker room kind of an empty feel. However, during one of the many PokerStars tournament series, players will find themselves happy and spoiled for choice. 3. Service and experience. However, after this really strong start, the wheels come off the Okada train in a pretty big way, starting with the experience. But first, there are some clear positives. The Okada complex is a must-see just to visit. There is a vast array of upmarket shopping, dining, and entertainment. Headlining this are the huge Bellagio-style fountains in the oval-shaped interior and an incredible joy to experience. The furniture is generally comfortable and the televisions overhead will keep you entertained with sports. The bathrooms are also abundant and very high quality. A food court also buttresses the poker area, meaning that food is accessible, healthy, and with a wide variety. Finally, the floor managers seem conspicuously competent when it comes to managing the room and directing players. While players are called to the table over the PA system, this can be a bit annoying, it does seem to be effective. People find their tables quickly and efficiently. But this is where the positives really do cease. The chips are low quality plastic and light as a feather. Table service is atrocious, and it's not just an off day. Each time you play, you will have to ask several times for waitstaff who may or may not bring you a coffee. These are chargeable, by the way, low quality and more expensive than Starbucks. Meanwhile, there is an undrinkably sweet complimentary coffee, which is notoriously bad. So much so that a sadist tournament photographer went around taking shots of people taking their first sip just because of the reaction. One other issue is that you'll have to sign up for a membership card, and this isn't uncommon. But if you happen to have a Filipino SIM, you will get bombarded with Okada text messages a lot. Almost every single day in the Philippines, I received marketing text messages from Okada to the point where I had to write to the customer service asking them to stop. This didn't have the desired effect, so I had to block the number and direct it to spam. But the biggest issue in terms of experience is the same as at King's Resort: smoking. Smoking is permitted on the main gaming floor, and while smoking is not permitted at the table, it is just outside the pit, which is only a few feet away, while the entire venue smells of nicotine and ash. The air purifiers are arguably a little better than at King's, but if you're a non-smoker, you aren't going to want to hang around for long. But unlike King's, which is a near perfect experience other than this, Okada also has a lot of other problems. And since we cannot recommend people risk their health for a card game, for service and experience, 1.5 stars. 4. Rake and Rewards. This is pretty bad too, with a couple of exceptions. There is a free roll tournament weekly that if you win, you go into the barrel to win a seat to a tournament. Tournament entry for this is worth about $600, which is a fine freebie. There's also a bad beat jackpot that is worth a lot, and a flopped royal flush bonus of around $1,000. However, Rake is insane. It's 10%, and the low stakes is capped at 4 big blinds plus a jackpot rake. The cap gets better as the stakes increase, but we're still talking 10%, and the house accepts tips on top of this, though it isn't expected. Now, Observant followers are going to point out, but Crispin, didn't you say Australian casinos also have 10% rake? And the answer is yes. Yes, they do. But Australia has amongst the highest living standards in the world with really high wages. 10% rake in Australia might be high, and it is high, but at least that is offsetting the cost of doing business, including all the taxes and paying staff a living wage. Meanwhile, local Filipinos are getting paid a pittance by comparison, and therefore a 10% rake at a casino in Manila can only be described as greedy, especially for staff working under harsh conditions in a smoke-filled environment. It really is outrageous. Its only redeeming quality are the jackpots and bonuses, and the fact that the rate caps do shrink sharply as the stakes increase. The PokerStars tournament rake is also a lot more reasonable. 1.5 stars. Rules and quirks. Now at Okada's Poker Room, there is one thing that can really trip you up if you're not careful. It doesn't apply to other poker rooms. If all players agree, you can run it twice, but the bad beat jackpot is no longer valid if you do so. Normally, if there's a bad beat on offer and players agree to run it multiple times, then only the first run out counts for the jackpot, which seems perfectly fair. But this isn't a case at Okada. You cannot run it multiple times and get a jackpot under any circumstances. Moreover, unlike at Newport where you have to turn your hands up in an all-in situation, like most card rooms around the world, that's not required at Okada, meaning you may not know what you're risking. For this reason, I recommend that under no circumstances at Okada Do you run it multiple times in an all-in? Other than that though, most things are going to be pretty familiar to the regular player. You can bind the button when you're coming in, and there is an underground straddle permissible. In conclusion, as a resort and a location, Okada is a fabulous place in Metro Manila for a lovely afternoon of fun and frivolity. If you're a smoking gambler, then the actual casino itself has a large variety of gaming options to suit your preferences. However, the poker is kind of a letdown, especially since there is no good reason for it. Service could be improved, and Rake should be more realistic relative to the cost of service. Manila itself as a city is a real poker mecca, and you should definitely have this city on a must-see list for your poker travels. As is though, there are poker options in the Philippines that are way more attractive than Okada. 2 stars. We review new poker rooms regularly, so if you found value in this content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons because it's the only way YouTube will know that this is the case. Also, please, if you have access to any Facebook groups or poker forums, please consider sharing this video because it's the only way we can make more content. In the meantime, have you been to Okada Manila? If so, what did you think? Is there anything that I've missed or recommendations you'd like to include? I'm sure everyone would appreciate it down below. Otherwise, thank you for watching and we will see you next time. Goodbye.